Hello everyone, it is your boy Winster and I'm back at it again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh's newest set, Legacy of Destruction, and the top 5 cards that you should be looking out for in this new set that is set to be released at the end of this month, being April. Before we get into today's video, guys, thank you so much for always supporting, but I really would appreciate if you guys turn on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We're getting so close to hitting 2,000 subscribers. Also, be sure to check out the description box. There's going to be a Discord, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch. Be sure to follow me on all those platforms. I would really appreciate it. But let's get right into today's video. Really quickly, guys, before we get into our top 5 cards, I wanted to talk about some honorable mentions, one of which is Minerva, the new Lightsworn monster. It's a level 8, 2800 attack, 1800 defense, generic, 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner. Its effects are Lightsworn monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. Its card is Synchro Summon. You can send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Lightsworn monsters uses this card's material for its summon. Next effect, you can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from the graveyard as cost, and that many cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. This card overall is really good in my opinion for the Lightsworn strategy. It's generic, level 8, very easy to summon, and for the most part you're only going to be running it in Lightsworn, so you're going to at least send 2 cards to the graveyard off of its summon. And since you're going to be playing Lightsworns, you're going to have so many in your graveyard and you're just going to be able to trigger this effect. I think overall really good. It sucks to say that Lightsworn isn't where it once was from back in the day. That obviously the best deck and really set off archetypes overall, in my opinion. But hopefully this card does bring a little bit more light to the strategy, and hopefully we see a little bit more of it. So my other honorable mention is Shining Sarcophagus. The card text cannot be destroyed by monster effects. You can only use this card's effect once per turn. During your main phase, you can add a card from your deck that mentions this card except itself. If your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard, you can discard 1 spell, then target one of those monsters, and that is cost, send it to the graveyard. Overall, I think this card is pretty good, in my personal opinion, as okay protection from monster effects only. But the good side to it, it has a great search effect. Cards that search cards that mention it are absolutely insane. In my opinion, the best way to search things nowadays. As okay removal, it's very specific because you have to discard a spell card. On the opposite end of that, right, it has negate, so it has ways to stop your opponent from playing. But currently, I think with just this amount of support for it, I don't personally think it's enough. The boss monster being Gandora, I personally don't think that it's good. I think it's okay at best. This card does remind me of the Horde strategy. It could maybe be a small splashable engine alongside with other cards. So here's to the future in future sets where we get a little bit more support for it. But I think overall there is a lot of potential with the card. Starting off at number 5 in top cards in Legacy of Destruction, we got Nightmare Apprentice. You can special summon this card from your hand by discarding 1 card. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. If this card is summoned, you could add 1 illusion monster from your deck to your hand except itself. You could only use each effect of this card once per turn. If this card battles a monster, neither could be destroyed by battle. So overall, great support for the illusion strategy. The only real 2 that come to mind are Runic Chimera, Branded Chimera. Those are the only strategies that are really using the illusion monsters currently. But this could be splashed in those, in my personal opinion, because it could search any illusion monster that you need. And you could search out Kotal, you could search out Mirror Sword Knight. Very good support. Or if you're playing any other cards in those strategies, you could search it out. Easy way to summon itself just by discarding a card, and then you get that search effect. On the opposite end of thing, Kotal already does that for the Chimera strategy in both Runic and Branded variants. Realistically, this card isn't really needed when you're already doing that. But if this is just another searcher for the deck. But on top of that, Kotal does have negation when you control the boss monster, the Chimera fusion monster. So this does not have that going for it. But overall, I think really good. You could splash it in those strats. At number 4, we got Snake Eyes Diabellstar. Level 8, 2800 attack, 2600 defense, fire spellcaster monster. When an attack is declared involving this card and your opponent's monsters, you can place both that opponent's monsters and this face-up card in their owner's spell or trap zone as a continuous spell. While this card is treated as a continuous spell, you can target one fire monster in your graveyard except itself, place it face up in its owner's spell or trap zone as a continuous spell, and if you do, special summon this card. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. I think this card is okay. I do think that the strategy is going to be playing at least one of. It has decent removal with it evolving a battle, including this card. You could put both in spell and trap zone. And then when it's in the spell and trap zone, you can target one in the graveyard to special summon itself, which is fairly good in my personal opinion. It does have the luxury to be part of the best deck in the current format, being Snake Eyes Pure or Fire King. But on top of that, it's pretty easy to summon. You just activate the spelled spell, place this card in the spell or trap, have any fire in your graveyard, which you more than likely would. Once you summon Poplar, Onyx, Snake Eye Ash, anything really, and then just use this monster, which is absolutely insane. But I do think it has a lot going for it. It would be a one of at best, considering that everyone is expecting Snake Eyes to be hit with this up and coming ban list. I do think players are going to gravitate to this card. Because it is fairly decent in my opinion. So at number 3, we got Centurion Arxola. I apologize if I'm butchering it, but it is a level 12 synchro 3000 defense and attack dark dragon monster. Generic 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner. Its effects are face-up cards in your spell and trap zone cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. This card is special summon. You can add 1 Centurion card from your deck to your hand. During the end phase, you can place 1 non-synchro Centurion monster from your graveyard or banish face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. This card is amazing in my personal opinion. One of the big hurdles that the Centurion strategy did have is getting the tuner in the graveyard banished by DD Crow or a Bestial, but this card plays around it because this card does not target. It just decides at resolution. So if they do DD Crow it, if they do Bestial, you'll just still be able to summon it, which is absolutely insane. This card also has a great search effect, searches any Centurion card, and cards that search anything that just mentions a specific archetype or a specific thing, and not limited to spells, monsters, or traps, is just absolutely broken in my opinion. I do think this could potentially replace Legacia, but it is such a good card in my personal opinion. But that's only at number 3. So coming in at number 2, we got Diabels of the Original Sin. It is a level 7, 2500 attack, 2000 defense, light illusion monster. So this card can be searched out with a Princess Magician. Who knows? Maybe we get a Snake Eye Chimera hybrid, but this card's effects are: if a Sinful Spoils card is in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. Your opponent cannot activate spells or trap cards that were not set. If either player sets a spell or trap to the field while this monster is on the field, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls as cost. Destroy them. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. This card is absolutely great. It's super easy to summon, given you have to have this set up somewhat, which is fairly easy in the Snake Eye strategy. Wanted to get you there. A copy of Diabellstar gets you there. Poplar gets you there, which is absolutely insane, and you can play multiple copies of those cards. Somewhat of a floodgate because cards have to be set in order to be activated. So quick plays can't be activated, like Super Poly, Called by the Grave, which is absolutely insane. It has okay removal because you can target 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent controls when something is set, and then destroy both of them, which is fairly good in my opinion. But it has the same luxury just as the new other Snake Eyes Diabellstar monster. It's part of the best strategy in the current format. I do think that people are going to be playing this card. It's a little bit more bricky in my opinion because you have to have a little bit of setup, which is fairly easy, but it could be negated. So then if you don't get that card in your graveyard, this just becomes a brick. I do think that because it's in the best deck, it has a lot of support for it already, and it is going to be used in some way. But I'm excited. Hopefully we get like Chimera, Snake Eye, something like that. That'll be really, really sick to see. And coming in at number 1, we got Sangan, Super Dragon Transcend Dragion. What a mouthful. It is a Synchro 10 Fire Dragon 3000 stats. The card text is 1 Dragon Tuner plus 1 non-Dragon Tuner monster If this card is Synchro Summon, you can change all monsters on the field to attack position. All your opponent's monsters must attack if able. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the battle phase. Have been declared this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Destroy one card on the field. You can only use each effect of this card once per duel. So this card is absolutely insane in my personal opinion. I think the only real drawback is that it's not super generic. One dragon plus one non-dragon tuner monster kind of limits on what you could play with this card, but its effect is absolutely insane. Effects in the battle phase cannot be activated, and it has removal that summons itself. And obviously, you're going to be using the old Dragion. You're going to attack 3 times, and then you're going to activate this card in the grave, and then you're going to destroy something, and then attack again with this card. That's 12,000 damage. Absolutely insane. So this card is an OTK machine, has great support in the main deck monsters that are also in this set, and doing great in the OCG. I'm really excited to see the whole combo overall. I just know the deck is doing really good there, and it should translate here as well. Just the fact that you can't use effects in the battle step, where this card really shines, is just absolutely insane. Those are the top 5 cards that you should be looking out for in Legacy of Destruction, plus some honorable mentions. But let me know what you guys think of my list. Are those cards what you're excited for? If not, what are the cards that you guys are excited for? Make sure to leave them in the comment section, guys. I really appreciate it. Love reading all the comments that I get. But that's going to be it for today's video. My name is Winsor. You guys have a good day. Peace out, guys.